Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss about some important environmental international conventions. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like, share and comment. Okay, let us start. UNCED, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. It is also called as the Rio Summit and Earth Summit, which was held in 1992 and it is also established in 1992 only. Okay. During this conference, another two important international conventions have been formed. Those are UNFCCC and UNCBD. This UNFCCC is related to climate change, and UNCBD is related to Convention on Biological Diversity, and this is United Nations Conference on the Environment. And this UNCCD is related to desertification. It is established in 1994. These three established in 1992 only. UNFCCC, UNCBD and UNCED. All these three are established during the 1992. The issues addressed during this conference are: the first one, climate scrutiny of patterns of production, toxic components such as lead gasoline, radioactivity chemicals, and second one, alternative sources of energy to replace the use of fossil fuels which link to the climate change. And the third one, new public transportation system to reduce the vehicle emissions. The third one, new public transportation system to reduce the vehicle emissions. During this conference, another two important legally binding agreements or a conference have been formed. One is CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, and another one is UNFCCC. This is UN Framework on Convention on Climate Change. UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay. During this UNCED conference, 27 principles have been came into existence. In that, Agenda 21, this Agenda 21 is the action plan of United Nations related to sustainable development and was an outcome of the this UNCED. UN held a special session to appraise the 5 years of progress on the implementation of 21 agenda, that is Rio plus 5. To implement the 21 agenda, Rio plus 5 have been formed. This Rio plus 5 is to recognize this uneven and increased globalization, inequalities, deterioration of global environment. And later Rio plus 20. It was held in 2012. The United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, which took place in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. This is 20 years after the landmark of 1992. This Earth Summit in Rio happened. This Rio plus 5 have been formed in 1997. This Rio plus 20 is to reduce the poverty, advance social security, and ensure the environmental protection. This function is to reduce the poverty, advance social security, and ensure the environmental protection. Next, we'll see Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD, which was existed during the 1992. The CBD is a legally binding convention recognized for the first time that the conservation of biological diversity is a common concern of humankind. It has 3 goals. First one, conservation of biodiversity. Second one, sustainable use of the components of biodiversity. Sustainable use of the components of biodiversity. And the third one, sharing of the genetic resource. Sharing of the genetic resource in a fair way. And we have two protocols in this CBD, that is Conventional Biological Diversity. The first one, Cartagena Protocol. The convention clearly recognizes these twin aspects of the modern biotechnology. One is the access to transfer of technologies. Second one, appropriate procedure to enhance the safety of biotechnology and technologies. One is access to transfer of technology, and another one is to enhance the safety of the biotechnology. Two functions of this Cartagena protocol. We'll see the objective of this Cartagena protocol. It regulates the import and export of the LMOs from one country to another country. Next, we'll see Nagoya Protocol. It is related to access to the genetic resource and fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising from their utilization to the Convention on Biological Diversity. This Nagoya Protocol is related to access to the genetic resource. You just remember this one. Next, we'll see Ramsar Convention on Wetlands. Ramsar Convention on Wetlands. It was adopted in Iranian city of Ramsar in 1971 but came into force on 1975. This Ramsar Convention is for the conservation and wise use of the wetlands and their resources. Conservation of wetlands and their wise use of their resources. And it is the only global environmental treaty which deals with the particular ecosystem. Okay, it is the only global environmental treaty which deals with the particular ecosystems. And World Wetland Day is celebrated on every Feb 2nd. Okay, World Wetland Day is celebrated on February 2nd, and India is also signatory to this Ramsar Convention from the 1st Feb of 1982. Montek's record. It is a register of wetlands sites on list of wetlands of international importance where changes in ecological character have occurred, are occurring, or likely to occur as a result of technological development, population, or other human interface. This Montek record is to register of wetland sites. In India, 80 Ramsar sites are there. In India, we have 80 Ramsar sites. Next, we'll see cities. Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. It is an international agreement between governments entered into force in 1975. It is entered into force in 1975 and became the only treaty to ensure that international trade in plants. It is the only treaty to ensure the international trade in plants and animals doesn't threaten survive in the world. It is the only treaty to ensure the international trade in plants and animal doesn't threaten survive in the world. Currently, it has 176 member countries. 176 member countries. India is also a part of these cities. India is also a part of these cities. The cities is administered through the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP. Next we'll see traffic, the Wildlife Trade Monitoring Network. Wildlife Trade Monitoring Network. It is the joint program with the WWF and IUCN. This traffic have been established in 1976 by the IUCN. Traffic is an international network consisting of Traffic International based in Cambridge, UK with office on 5 continents. This is the non-governmental organization. Undertake its activities in close collaboration with the cities. It's a non-governmental organization which collaboration with the cities. Next we'll see CMS, Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species. Its aim is to conserve the terrestrial, aquatic, avian migratory species. It is an intergovernmental treaty, came into existence in 1979 under the United Nations Environmental Program. It is concluded under the UNEP, that is United Nations Environmental Program. This convention has membership of 117 parties. Membership of 117 countries. The member countries are from the Africa, Central and South America, Asia, Europe and Oceania. Next we'll see IUCN. It is the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. International Union for the Conservation of Nature, established in 5th October 1948. 5th October 1948. It's headquartered in Gland, Switzerland. This IUCN vision is to just world that values and conserve the nature. And its priority areas are the biodiversity, climate change, sustainable energy, human well-being and green economy. This IUCN published the Red Data Book. Red Data Book. The Red Data Book contains the information about the species across the globe that are on the verge of extinction. It contains the information of the species across the globe that are in verge of extinction. And IUCN aim is to conserve the species with the help of scientific knowledge and international cooperation. Okay, next we'll see Stockholm Convention on POP. The Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants. The Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants was adopted at the Conference of Plenipotentiaries on 2001 in Stockholm. In Sweden and entered into force on 2004. The Stockholm Convention on POP entered into force on 2004. It is related to persistent organic pollutants. Stockholm Convention is related to persistent organic pollutants. Please remember this. And next we'll see Basel Convention. Basel Convention adopted on 1989. Okay, the Basel Convention on it is the control of transboundary movements of hazardous wastes and their disposal. It is to control of the transboundary movements of hazardous wastes and their disposals, and it protect the human health and environmental against the adverse effect of hazardous wastes. Remember this, Basel Convention is related to hazardous wastes and their disposal, and it also protect the human health and environment against the adverse effect of hazardous wastes. Next we'll see Rotterdam Convention. This was adopted in 1989. Rotterdam Convention adopted on 1998. This 1989 is Basel Convention. Rotterdam Convention adopted in 1998. This convention covers the pesticides and industrial hazards. Initially, and it is initiated by the UNEP and FAO. Next, UNCCD. This is United Nation Convention to combat the desertification. United Nation Convention to combat the desertification. Which was established in 1994. It is the sole legally binding international agreement linking the environment and development to sustainable and management. It is the sole legally binding international agreement which is linking the environment and development to sustainable land management. This UNCCD is particularly committed to a bottom-up approach and encouraging the participation of local people in combating the desertification and land degradation. Next we'll see a Vienna Convention entered into force on 1988. It acts as a framework for the international efforts to protect the ozone layer, and it doesn't include the legally binding reduction goals for the use of CFCs. It is not legally binding to reduce the CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. This Vienna Convention is dedicated to protect the ozone layer. Next we'll see Montreal Protocol. Vienna Convention for the protection of ozone layer and its Montreal Protocol on substance that deplete the ozone layer are dedicated to protection of deplete the ozone layer was designed to reduce the production and consumption of the ozone depleting substance in order to reduce their abundance. This Montreal Protocol on substance that deplete the ozone layer designed to reduce the production of the consumption of the ozone depleting substance. Next we'll see GAIS, globally important agriculture heritage systems. The GAIS program has been officially endorsed as a FAO regular program in 2015. The purpose of GIAS is to recognize the remarkable land use system and landscape which are rich in globally significant biological diversity. Recognize the remarkable land use system and landscape which are rich in globally significant biological diversity. Okay, next we'll see Minamata Convention, which was adopted in 2013 in Japan. This Minamata Convention on Mercury, is a globally treaty to protect the human health and environment from the mercury. Next we'll see Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol was adopted in 1997 and it commits the industrialized countries to stabilize the greenhouse gas emissions based on the principle of the convention. Next we'll see carbon trading. It is the exchange of emission permits, and this may take within the economy or international transaction. Red, reducing the emission from deforestation and forest degradation. This red is the global endeavor to create an incentive to developing countries to protect, save and better manage their forest resources, and thus contributing to the global fight against the climate change. And red plus goes beyond merely checking the deforestation and forest degradation, and that is for reduction in the deforestation for or enhancing the quality and the expanse of forest cover. The red plus checking the deforestation and forest degradation, and it also approaches the incorporates important benefits of the livelihood important and biodiversity conservation and the food security services. Next we'll see GEF, which was established in 1991 by the World Bank in consultation with the UNDP and UNEP. This UNDP is United Nations Development Program and UNEP is United Nations Environmental Program. This GEF focus on 6 areas such as biological diversity, climate change, international water, land degradation and desertification, deforestation, and ozone layer depletion, and the last one, persistent organic pollutant. And this GEF to provide the funding to protect the global environment. Okay, next we'll see green economy. Green economy is the outcome of Rio Plus 20. It is the document identifies the sustainable development and poverty reduction. This green economy focuses specifically on the fundamental changes that are required to ensure that economic systems are made more sustainable. Next we'll see ecological footprint. Ecological footprint is a measure of the human demand on the earth ecosystem. It is the standard measure of the demand for natural capital that may be contrasted with the planet's ecological capacity to regenerate and represents the amount of biologically productive land and sea area which are necessary to supply the resources of human population consumes and assimilate the associated waste. Next we'll see carbon footprint. It is the amount of carbon being emitted by an activity or an organization.